Hi, you're listening to WJHS 91.5 The Eagle. Welcome to Media in the Making, a podcast where we look at the evolution of media from the 1600s all the way to present day 2020. In this podcast series, you will learn how different forms of media have changed culture. Media in the Making, where media and culture are always changing. In this podcast series, you will learn how different forms of media have changed culture. Media in the Making, where media and culture are always changing. Now let's take a step back in time. Hi, I'm Aaliyah, and you're listening to Media in the Making, episode Present Occurrences. In this podcast, we will do an overview of how newspaper revolutionized present-day media. So sit back, relax, and just listen. Some people ask these questions. What is the root of media? How did we get to where we are today? Why is newspaper so important? We don't even use it anymore. Today, I'm going to answer these questions, starting with the very first newspaper in history. The first newspaper was called Public Occurrences and was published in Boston, Massachusetts on September 29, 1690 by the Governor and Council. Specifically written by the Secretary Isaac Addington, the newspaper talks about some of the local news and issues regarding the colonies, religion, finances, and other affairs with Native Americans, and more. This is insane to think about. These pilgrims who are getting used to this new land create this thing that is really the start of media. Through this groundbreaking root of mass media, branches of other forms of media spiraled off of it because of one small article. Media as we know it today has grown because of the newspaper. Yes, many people consider it irrelevant today with social media stealing the spotlight, but just because something is dead in our eyes does not mean we should forget it. We use where we have come from to move, to grow, and adapt and improve. That is one of the most extraordinary things about media to me. You start with the newspaper that evolves to the telephone, the radio, the television, etc. It's just so awesome to think about. These colonists had no idea that their tiny little newspaper, article, journal would become the foundation of media. They had no idea that this little pamphlet, whatever you want to call it, would become the starting point of something that our generation has changed and has now become obsessed with. Something so small has turned into something our president is most known for. Our culture today is chained to media. The more it grows, the more it evolves, the harder it is for us to stay away from it. Media is such a huge piece of what we are. It is now considered an addiction. That's crazy. That's insane to me. Media of all things. Something has started with a tiny little newspaper. Journalism is such a vital pillar to our society. Media, news, culture, you name it, someone has covered it. Small communities like mine in Whitley County, Indiana have articles covering smaller events, more relatable and closer to home. They provide more jobs for eager writers and more local journalism, and it's beloved by many communities around the world. You didn't think I would forget about TV now. Of course not. What do you think I do every Friday night? Go out with friends? Party? Nah. Who needs a life when you could binge watch The Office? Television is very important to the world of media. With the coronavirus pandemic, television has gotten more love than before. A lot of people multitask while watching. Some people do homework, some people do laundry, stretch, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of people are on their devices looking at social media, texting. It's crazy. You've got one screen up and yet you decide to devote your attention to something else. Many, many people these days use media. It is a part of them. It's a part of us. Know where you have come from and learn where you are going to go. So we have covered some of the branches on this quote-unquote media tree. But remember, the tree is nothing without its roots. In this case, our roots are newspaper. Let us not forget our roots. Thank you for listening. This has been Present Occurrences. My name is Aaliyah Schumann, and as always, stay true. That was Media in the Making, brought to you by WJHS 91.5 and the Eagle Tech Academy Mass Media classes. Media in the Making aims to teach you about the evolution of media throughout history and its effects on culture. For more from the students, this podcast series will be on the 91.5 website, wjhs.org. Thank you for tuning in.